The great white shark, apex predator, 20 feet of muscle and teeth, the nightmare that keeps people out of the water. Movies have been made about it, documentaries obsess over it. It's become the symbol of everything terrifying about the ocean. But here's the thing. The great white isn't even close to being the scariest thing down there. The really terrifying sharks, the ones that would make a great white look almost normal by comparison, they don't swim anywhere near beaches. They don't hunt in shallow water where we can see them. They live hundreds, sometimes thousands of meters below the surface, in places so dark and so deep that we've barely begun to explore them. And some of them are so bizarre, so alien that when we do find them, we can barely believe they're real. In the illuminated zone, the top layer where sunlight still penetrates, you start to see sharks that don't play by the rules. Take the wabagong, for example. This thing looks like someone glued a shark to a piece of carpet. It's covered in fringe that makes it blend perfectly into coral, but it doesn't hunt the way you think. It doesn't chase. It just lies there, completely motionless, sometimes for days, waiting. Then it strikes faster than you can process, creating powerful suction that pulls prey directly into its mouth. It can swallow things impossibly large relative to its body. Then there's the swell shark. When threatened, it inflates like a balloon, wedging itself between rocks so predators can't pull it out. When it deflates, it makes this weird barking noise, and under blue light, it's biofluorescent. It glows in patterns other swell sharks can see, but most predators can't. The epaulet shark can walk, on its fins. When tide pools trap it, it actually walks from pool to pool, and it can survive with almost no oxygen, shutting down parts of its brain until conditions improve. But these illuminated zone sharks, strange as they are, they're still in water we can understand. The real horror starts when you go deeper. In the twilight zone, where sunlight is fading and pressure is building, you find sharks that have adapted to conditions that seem impossible. The cookie cutter shark, for example, is only about 50 centimeters long, tiny. But it's one of the most aggressive sharks in the ocean. It's bioluminescent, so its underside glows in the dark water, mimicking the silhouette of a small fish when seen from below. This attracts larger predators, like whales and dolphins and other sharks, things that could swallow this little shark in one bite. They come up to investigate what they think is an easy meal, and then the cookie cutter latches on. Its mouth forms a perfect seal against the predator's skin. It bites down with specialized teeth and spins its entire body, using its saw-like lower jaw to carve out a perfect circular plug of flesh, like using a cookie cutter. Then it detaches and drops back into the darkness with its meal while the much larger predator swims away with a crater in its side. These things have attacked whales, dolphins, large sharks, and even nuclear submarines. The blunt-nosed six-gill shark, on the other hand, is a living fossil. Most sharks have 5 gill slits, this one has 6. It can reach 6 meters in length, massive, with eyes that reflect light in the darkness like a cat's eyes. It's been using basically the same body plan for 200 million years because that design just works. At night, these sharks migrate vertically through hundreds of meters of depth to hunt, then sink back down before dawn. The midnight zone. This is where things get genuinely nightmarish. Take the goblin shark, for instance. This thing looks like it shouldn't exist. Its skin is translucent pink because there's no pigment, so you're seeing blood vessels through the skin. It has this long, flat snout that extends in front of its face, covered in sensors that detect electrical fields from prey in the absolute darkness. But the really horrifying part is what happens when it finds something to eat. Its jaw is on a hinge. When it detects prey, the jaw shoots forward out of its skull at incredibly high speed, extending several inches beyond where it should anatomically be able to reach. The mouth opens impossibly wide, creates powerful suction, and the whole feeding apparatus snaps back into place with the prey inside. It's like something from an alien horror movie, but it's real and it's been living in the deep ocean for millions of years, perfecting this nightmare feeding mechanism. The frilled shark might be even worse. It has a snake-like body, completely unlike other sharks. It moves like a snake, hunts like a snake. It has 300 teeth arranged in 28 rows, all pointing backward, so anything that goes into its mouth cannot escape. It doesn't bite and tear like normal sharks. It swallows prey whole, dislocating its jaw to fit things into its mouth that seem impossibly large. And it has 6 fringed gills, this weird throwback to ancient shark anatomy that makes it look like it's from a different era of evolution entirely, because it basically is. The frilled shark represents a separate lineage that branched off early in shark evolution and just kept doing its own bizarre thing in the deep ocean where nobody could bother it. And then there's the abyss, below 3,000 meters, pressure that would instantly crush a human. Darkness so complete that bioluminescence is the only light source, temperature just above freezing. This is where the Portuguese dogfish lives. It is the deepest living shark we know of, surviving at depths where the pressure exceeds 300 atmospheres, which is 300 times the pressure at the surface. Its vision is optimized to detect the faintest bioluminescence in absolute darkness. It eats squid, deep-sea fish, and when it finds one, whale carcasses that sink down from the surface. It survives in an environment where almost no other shark can function. The cold, the pressure, the darkness, the scarcity of food, everything about the abyss should make life impossible. But the Portuguese dogfish is thriving down there, hunting in conditions we can barely replicate in laboratories. Now here's what really keeps me up at night. These are just the sharks we've found. We've only mapped about 30% of the ocean floor. We've only explored a tiny fraction of the deep ocean, which means there are almost certainly sharks down there we haven't discovered. Sharks that might be even stranger, even more adapted to extreme conditions than anything we've seen. We only found the Portuguese dogfish by accident in relatively shallow parts of the deep ocean. What's living at 5,000 meters? At 6,000? In the deepest trenches where we've sent equipment only a handful of times. There could be sharks with adaptations we can't imagine. Entire species of ambush predators in underwater caves we've never explored. Sharks that hunt using senses we don't understand, in ecosystems operating on principles we haven't discovered. Every time we send a submersible to unexplored depths, we find something new, something that challenges our understanding of what life can do. And those are just the ones we notice, the ones we get on camera before they disappear back into the darkness. So, in a nutshell, the ocean is not empty, the abyss is not lifeless. They're instead full of predators that have been evolving in isolation for millions of years, perfecting adaptations we're only beginning to glimpse. And sharks are one of evolution's most successful designs. They've survived for over 400 million years. They've adapted to every ocean environment from tropical reefs to polar ice to the darkest depths. So when you think about sharks, when you picture that great white breaching, remember that's just the shark you can see. The really terrifying ones are deeper, much deeper. Subscribe to watch more videos and turn on post notifications.